What's up, you guys? It's your girl J.Nichelle, and I am super excited. You might notice that we're in a different setting, and that is because I am a guest here at the Wichita Podcast Studio, and I am super excited to be in such a beautiful environment. So shout out to the Wichita Podcast Studio for having your girl here today. We have a amazing guest. I am so honored to be able to do this interview today with this gentleman, and I would call it divine, like timing, maybe. We met a long time ago, and we reconnected. And when I reconnected with this gentleman, he was completely different. I feel like life really happened to him, and so I'm super excited, and I'm ready to get into the interview, you guys. I'm ready to introduce today's guest, and hopefully you guys find out more about him, and I do too. So without further ado, Toni Todaro in the building, guys.
How you doing?
Yes.
How you doing?
I'm so excited to be here.
I want to ask you, you said that you saw me after a period of time.
Yeah.
It was a while.
Yeah.
And you didn't recognize me.
Yeah.
And that has happened so much, because I took a long...
Because I remember you saying, like, do you remember me? And I was like,
Yeah, I had to square up with you. I said,
Yeah.
okay,
Yeah.
look at my face, look at my features. I know I have my beard and that my hair is slicked back and da-da-da. And do you recognize me? And you were like, wait, give me a second. No way. You're like,
Yeah.
you from the place in the da.
Yeah.
Yeah, that, the last 2 years, that's really been so common for me. I took such a, I had a lot of things happen. I had some family stuff happen. I had some life stuff happen that really forced me to change my character and change who I was, and in a healthy way.
Yeah.
And I changed a lot. I changed in my appearance, my demeanor, and people, really don't recognize me. And
Yes.
and I started going by my middle name because, my father's name was Anthony. And my middle name is Anthony. Everyone calls me Chris. Sometimes girls call me Chris. Sometimes girls call me Tony. It depends on how much they know me.
So it depends on where
Yeah,
we at.
and honestly, sometimes it has to do with what they like. I have some girls, they like call me Tony, and some girls like call me Chris.
Is there a difference in your eyes between Chris and Tony?
No, it's me.
It's you. Okay.
I had a joke. I said, I had people that grew up with me when I was real young. They call me Chris, da da da. But I started going by my middle name. I was, probably like real late high school. I started transferring high school. I started going by my middle name. And you call someone Tony, it kind of, and especially if they're Italian, because I'm Italian.
Okay.
So you start going by Tony, like people expect a little bit different.
Than Chris.
Yeah, Chris is like sweet.
Okay.
And that's what I'm saying. So girls sometimes, if they, like I had a girl, she would kind of refuse to call me Chris. She only want to call me Tony. I was like, okay, baby, that's cool, whatever. And then some girls want to call me Chris.
Okay.
Because that's kind of that's like my mama boy side. That's what my mom calls me, Christopher Anthony. If she's mad at me, Christopher Anthony.
Okay.
But.
Shout out, Mom.
Yeah, Jacqueline.
So I kind of really want to start there, but first I just want to do a small introduction.
Got you.
For people that they don't know Chris or Tony. So how would you introduce yourself?
I am a humble servant of the people. I'm an artist. That is my craft. That's what I do. So anything that I put my hands on is creative.
Yeah.
And any field that is creative, I get involved in. I started with music. That was my main form of creativity. I'm not the best painter or drawer. I'm a stick figure type of guy.
Me too.
But for some reason, I was really good with an instrument in my hand. And I remember probably when I was always like music, my mother raised me on an excellent palette of music. So I have to give her a lot of credit for that, giving me Beatles CDs, when we were driving to school in the morning, she would always have the radio on. And my first musical memory is a Beatles singles CD. And then Outkast. People don't expect that.
That's insane.
No, they don't. People don't expect that. Outkast.
And the Beatles.
Outkast and the Beatles.
Ooh, I love that.
And I love hip hop. I love rock and roll music. Jimi Hendrix, Nat King Cole, Dean Martin, Frank Sinatra, Sammy Davis Jr.
Yeah.
Sammy Davis Jr. doesn't get enough credit. He was an absolute genius. He was a dancer. He was a musician. He was a singer. So I always, with the Rat Pack, I always you got to say Sammy Davis. So I love Sammy Davis Jr.
That's crazy.
But Rolling Stones, Prince, Stevie Wonder, Michael Jackson.
Okay, all
Nirvana.
the greats. Yeah, all the people that really like
Just
made
the
an
best.
impact.
You know what I always say to people also? I said, where are they from? And they say, I don't know. Michael Jackson, Midwest.
Yeah.
Stevie Wonder, Midwest.
Prince,
Midwest.
Yeah.
And then I say Marlon Brando, actor, Midwest. He was from Oklahoma. He was from Nebraska.
Wow.
Buster Keaton, one of the first mega silent film movies, guys. Kansas.
You know, and I definitely want to get into your feel on the music scene here in not only the Midwest, but Wichita. But I want to kind of circle back real quick because...
Sorry, that's what I do.
That's okay. That's what we're going to do here. We're here to talk. We're going to show you guys a good time. You're going to get to know a lot about today's guest. So when I met you, I want to go back to that because I feel like there's a lot there and maybe in a story that people can relate to. Because when I met you, I met Chris.
Yes.
That's what I will say. I met Chris. Chris was a sweet guy. So I felt like that's funny that you described.
Yeah.
You were so
I'm a
sweet.
sweetheart.
So
I'm a real
nice,
sweetheart, yeah.
Smiley, kind of bubbly, curly hair.
Yeah.
Still very, very talented. I met you at Poly Productions. And when we reconnected, I met Toni.
Yes, you did.
Smooth, slick back hair, suave demeanor, very confident.
Casanova.
Yeah. So I want to know, because I feel like you don't go from Chris to Toni just like I'm waking up one day and I'm just going to be Toni. Like what was that transitional period and what really sparked you to be like, okay, I'm ready? Because it's almost like you matured in a way into Toni, if you would. Yeah.
My biggest fan growing up was my grandmother. My grandmother, when I was in middle school and high school, early high school, she moved. So my mother's side of the family is from New Jersey. That's where I get my suit, and that's where I get that kind of my kind of talk and because they were New Jersey coffee and cigarette type of women. I was raised by a single mom.
Okay.
And
shout out to single moms.
Yeah, and I had my grandmother in the house, I had my mother in the house, and I had my sister in the house.
Okay. And
I was just talking to someone. They said, you're so good at, you're very social for a guy. I said, yeah. I learned from women how to talk. Now I said the only problem with that is a lot of times when you're a man and you have a single mom, you can be kind of feminine, friendly with women. I learned how to talk from women. Women can talk.
Yes, they can.
So I learned how to talk from women. If I wanted to get a word in, especially with my sister, you have to be able to
jump in there.
Yeah, you got to have a big personality. And so all these Italian women in my house, like, what's going on? You better get your reins.
Yeah.
But I grew up with that on my mother's side. My father was this, and he didn't raise me. I don't think he knows anything about me.
Wow.
He doesn't. And that's one of the reasons I also go by Tony's. So I'm going to get there. Anyway.
Okay.
So my father's name is Anthony. Real good looking, like really good looking. Marine Corps.
Wow.
Bodybuilding, gun shooting, farm kid. We're not talking we're talking a town you've never heard of, small town, 100 people. But for some reason, the genes and his family, all good looking, all smart. They all ended up in big cities, and dating really beautiful women outside of this small town. And so I'm and so that's my father. So my father and my mother met when he was stationed in San Diego.
Okay.
And she said, "Who is this guy? He's so good looking." It's my dad.
Handsome.
So handsome. And my mom had lived in these big cities her whole life. L.A., New Jersey, and she was like, "I'm tired of this." She was always a little different than her sister, my aunt. She said, "I'm tired. I don't want to live here anymore. I want the picket fence. I want the little house on the prairie."
Yeah.
She liked that show growing up.
Simple life.
Simple life.
Yeah.
And I want here comes my dad, like real protective, but like sweetheart of a guy, like real. He's like a big sweetheart kind of thing. And that was my dad. And so she fell for my dad, and she kind of like, "Oh, you and I are gonna be a thing." And then so she moved to Kansas with him. Had my sister, had me. They divorced when I was like being born, and then my mom legally kidnapped me.
Okay.
I'm telling you here.
Okay.
I was actually kidnapped. And I didn't know this. I didn't know this until like my mom kind of, the story was, yeah, you know, we moved back. We moved. You know, when we got divorced, I took you and your sister, we moved to California. And then went from that to like, oh, by the way, the law was involved. And when I took you and your sister, I was legally, you know, there was a whole police unit and da-da-da.
Yeah.
And they found where we were living kind of thing. And I was just like, what? She said, yeah, I kidnapped you and your sister. So, you know, she has that, you know, deep love.
Which is crazy because how does a mom kidnap her own children, right?
Yeah, you know, what's so interesting is my father did not want to have that happen. He was fine with my mom raising my sister and I. Mm-hmm. It was my grandmother who said, this is what I've been told. Within my family, there's a lot of scuttle about the dynamics of what. Yeah, right. I've heard different stories, but I'm going with what my mom said.
Yeah.
You know, she's done, you know, she's done a lot for me in my life. She is the toughest. That woman is the toughest little woman you've ever met in your life. She's about 5'1", but she does not look it. She does not move like it. She moves like a giant.
Yeah.
I remember the most traumatic, what changed me was trauma. The most traumatic aspect of my childhood was a moment where there was my father was an alcoholic. When he took my sister and I from California, we lived with him in Kansas. It's a small town. Real small town. So I like that. You know, I don't like to even say, you know, like Wichita. I like to say I'm from a town in Kansas you have never heard of.
Yeah.
It's that kind of situation. And just because I want people to, you know, because sometimes people gravitate towards even a bigger city. That's normal. Like people who live on the outside of wherever will say I'm from this big city. I wasn't even from that. My father was from like this real, you don't even know. No one's heard of it. Mm-hmm. Like I said, 100 people. So I'm living with my father and da-da-da. A lot of abuse, a lot of beating, a lot of this, a lot of that from my sister and I. And there was one fateful night where it kind of was so out of hand. My dad, my sister takes my dad's phone, calls my mom up and says, hey, I don't remember. I was like 3 or 4, but she said, hey, dad's doing some come. My mom drives however many hours, middle of the night, my father, buff, Marine Corps, he's got guns all over his house. Mm-hmm. He's drunk off of alcohol. Mm-hmm. He's a scary dude. My mom told me, she said she liked my dad because she felt protected around him.
Yeah, and a lot of women do.
Yes, they do. But he was abusive, and he, you know, he's paid the price for it now. But so no fear. Yeah. No fear.
Don't mess with a mama's kids.
No. And I will never forget this moment. And one day, if I ever can, I will recreate this moment in film, because I'll never forget it. I see the memory now in noir, black and white. For some reason, the memory's in black and white. I don't remember the color of things. I'm in the living room, stressed out, and I have my sister in my father's bedroom. He had this waterbed.
I remember waterbed back in the day.
He had this waterbed.
Yeah.
Now my father has a lot of redeeming characteristics. I don't know much about him, right? Mm-hmm. He doesn't know anything that I'm doing. He doesn't know anything about that. But I'm not gonna paint him as the worst person ever. He just really screwed up. He really screwed up. If he sees, you know, he listens to my album, or all of a sudden one day one of his like small town friends says, hey, do you know that your son is going by Toni, he's got this album, he's doing a show here, Mm-hmm. I'm not going to be, you know, because anyway, tangent, let's keep it going. So let's go back to trauma. Okay. I'm well adjusted, by the way.
The memory, black and white
noir.
I need to know what happened.
Let's go here.
Okay.
So we're there. I'm in the living room, and I'm recalling it. I hear pa 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 on the door. Mm-hmm. Pa 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 pa. Again, 5'1", nothing. She weighs about 125 pounds. Mm-hmm. Nothing. Italian broad banging on the door to a man that was in the Marine Corps, confirmed killer of men in foreign places. Pa 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 pa. The bravery on this woman. Pa 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 pa. And then, pow! Door busts open so hard that my father is hit by the door, and he falls into the corner I'll never forget this. My sister runs out of my father's room, and she runs to my mom. I'm not going to cry. No, it's just, runs out to my mom. My father's laying, and he's like this. He's drunk. The energy of this, he's just done. He's just laying. I'll never forget this. Still good looking. You have a good profile.
So silly.
Hey, that was one thing. I got to give him that. Dad, if you're watching this, thank you for my profile, my face. I got a good face. I got a good nose. My sister got the Italian nose, where it's kind of whatever going on. I didn't get that. I got my father.
Wait a minute.
I got my father's.
Your sister is somewhere like, what?
No, she's real good. She's better looking than me.
That's
I tell
funny.
people
It's
that.
like you got the Italian nose. Italian is like a big nose, yeah?
Yeah, and
Okay.
it's kind of crooked. It's a little, yeah. Any Italian, I didn't get that. I'm happy. I said I'm handsome. So, Italian dudes are like, they're real masculine, but they can like have some like not so like pretty features. I got more like I got the pretty stuff. And I'm happy with it. I'm not mad at it. I like my nose. I wouldn't have, anyway. But so I see my dad laying there, boom, boom, boom. And then the memory cuts to, I'm in the back seat with my sister. And we're driving, country road. What is a girl from New Jersey in Kansas on a country road with her 2 kids? Life has brought her here, right? And me. And I'm sitting there in the back seat. I said, Mom, I don't ever want to go back there again.
Yeah.
You know what she said? You don't have to. My mom's dad was a lawyer. He lives in Vietnam. Shout out. Pop, Michael Todaro. Siciliano. Full blown, legit. Like, if I show you pictures of my grandfather, like, yeah, that's where he got it from. Like, that. But he looks, because I'm blonde. Like, I'm a blonde Don, Like I said, Italian dudes are masculine, but they're not always very, like, attractive. I got the attractive kind of blonde hair, da-da-da kind of thing. My grandfather, da-da-da, was a lawyer. And we'll go back in time. My grandfather said, they plotted, you got to get your kids, if you want to get full custody, something's got to go down. Because you're not just going to, because what you did with the kidnapping them, they're done. Like you're already in some trouble.
Yeah.
So anyway, so that was kind of like, that was the perfect thing for my mom to have happen. Anyway, so trauma has guided all of my growth. And it has guided me in the most beautiful way. The story, how we got to my father was, I was talking about where I was, the women in my life, my mother, my grandmother, my sister, and talking about my grandmother is my biggest fan.
Yeah.
Before she heard my music, before she heard me playing guitar, me singing, before she heard anything, this woman's belief in her grandson and just honest, pure, unadulterated love and support, I didn't even understand.
Yeah.
I remember we'd go out and she would tell people, she'd say, he's going to be somebody.
Oh.
And I'm like, freshman. I'm like, Grandma, this, like, we can't stop doing this. You're embarrassing me. But now, like, those are the people that you cherish because they aren't around. We live in a real cold world, and people are animals. We are animals in this world. Anyway, so my grandmother, when she passed, I had this, and I was telling someone not that long ago about, I said, when my grandmother passed, I have this angel now.
Yeah.
That's there all the time. And I tell people, I have this song called Love on the Side. That song, when I was writing that song and I was doing a guitar solo for it, she had just died. And I'm in the studio alone. And I'm sitting there and I need to put a guitar solo on the song. I never played guitar so emotional and so emotionally melodic in my life. Mm-hmm. And I was speaking to my grandmother with that solo. And when she passed, I feel like she talked to God and said, he needs help right here. Mm. He needs a gift right here. He needs to be able to play guitar like that. he needs to be able to
To
he needs to
tap
be able to
into
express
that.
his
Yeah.
emotion in that way.
Yeah.
And I had never, I had, you know, I play guitar, you know, I was good at guitar, but when she died, something changed.
Yeah.
Something changed where it was, and all of my music I was able to express on this deep level. And I used to be in the studio, and I would be listening to music or and making songs, and I would just sit there and I would hear the playback, and I would feel like I was with my grandma, and I would feel like she was in the studio, and she was like smiling at me and just saying, "Oh, you're so good. I love what you're doing." That support, you know. But trauma, you said. Now trauma is what made you know, transform me from the, you know, kid with the curly down hair, you know, real carefree spirit. What I learned in the last like 5 years, 6 years of my life, like by the time I was like 18, what I learned is how violent the world is.
I was going to ask you that. What do you feel like has been your biggest lesson during this transition from Chris to Toni, as I would like to say?
Yeah. Violence. And as I started, you know, when you're smooth, I've always had pretty girls like me, even when it didn't make sense. Like honest, like when I was a freshman in high school, there was this foreign exchange student girl. Her name was Shalina. Shalina, baby. She lives in Germany. I haven't talked to her for a little bit, but she was a senior. I was a freshman. Everybody was scared to talk with her. Boom, boom, boom. Summer comes along. That was my girlfriend for the summer. And I remember she asked me for my phone number. She asked me to talk to me. And I was like, what is going on with this? And it was my spirit and my confidence. And I've always been focused on my life and not focused on women.
Yeah.
And women come when you focus on your life.
And I feel like it's crazy, but guys don't know how to talk to girls. A lot of guys don't know how to talk to girls.
When I talk to any woman the same way. I have the same sort of speech and same sort of tone, and I don't give off vibes like I'm trying to get with them. And because they feel so safe and secure,
they open up.
They open up, and they're like, "Oh, I really da da." So I connect with people in general, real quick. And I learned that from my mom, my sister, and my grandmother, how to connect with people. And that's always, so, you know, girls has always been, I've always had something.
Yeah, with the ladies.
Always had something. I've always, you know, ever since I was a little kid, black women have always seen me.
You know what? It's the Italian. It's the smooth, like suave. I'm gonna tell you from a black woman. Yeah. Like it's something about that confidence that is very attractive.
Yeah.
And I'm sure not only black women, but women
they
like
give
confidence.
I'm gonna give respect to black women though at this point in time, because if you go to any of my social, like black women have been the first to reach out, like as I've gone professional with my music and say how much they love my music.
Yeah,
they have been the first to, you know, start sharing and start spreading my music. And so I just wanna, and I've dated a lot of black women in my life.
Okay.
And it's you know.
Your
it
taste
is what
in
it
women
is
kind of like your taste in music, because you mix and blend genres.
Yes,
and you're
I'm okay with anything. You know, I go where I'm respected.
Yeah, and
where I'm treated with respect as a man, and where I'm seen. I said seen. Black women since I have been a child. Like my first daycare that my mom took me to was this all black daycare, and I remember being there. I'm the only blonde haired kid. Blah blah blah, whatever, hanging out. And we were out in the backyard, and there was this little black girl, and she just looked at me like, and I was like, and I looked at her, and she's like, I like you. And I said, I didn't even know what that was. I mean, we were probably like 5 years old.
Yeah.
But I'll never, like, I don't know what that is. There's something to that. And I just want to give respect to a black woman for that.
I love that.
Hey, you know, I think there's nothing wrong with that. And, you know, I've talked to some people. Some people are afraid to, you know, date people from different backgrounds. Like, hey,
it's complicated.
It can
even
be.
If it's the same, even if it's black people just have different beliefs or different cultures, even if they're the same race. Like if you know, come from a different belief system or a different religious anything, it could definitely be complicated to date. But I love that you see people and it's not, you know, necessarily.
I've also had, you know, and I tell people this when I say people say my people. I've heard that my whole life. You know, as an Italian people are real. They really like their culture and they like their people. And one of the things, and I'll tell you a funny story about, and we'll get back to the trauma. I told you I'm a talker.
And that's why we're here, though.
Yeah, I
You're
told you I'm a
giving
talker.
the people lots of content for you. I love it.
Yeah, we'll go back to the trauma. When people say my people, it was always so hard for me to use it the way other people use it, because I've had Italian people that we met each other and bonded over our Italian heritage steal my music.
Yeah.
I have had people that were supposedly backing my flag, my ancestors, my immigrant ancestors, having conversations about our family, having conversations about our food, the film, all of our American culture, Italian culture. I've had that person who supposedly is supposed to be my people. I have had that same person steal my intellectual heart and soul.
Yeah.
That moment taught me who my people are.
Yeah.
Whenever I say my people, I'm talking about any person who associates with the same things I believe in, the same things I honor. And that could be a person from Asia, India, South America, white, black, Asian, man, woman. Those are my people.
Yeah.
My people are people who look me in the eye with respect and aren't interested in stabbing me in the back. So yes, I like the Italian culture. I obviously like the Italian culture. I got my penny loafers on. I got my suit. I got my Versace shades. I love being Italian, but that is third place, fourth place. It's third place to God, and it's third place to anybody who's ever shown me actual respect. I have friends from all different backgrounds. I've been wronged by people from all different backgrounds. I've been in fights with people from all different backgrounds. I have been in intimate relationships with people from all different backgrounds.
Yeah.
I've learned who my people are.
Yeah.
And there's not a flag or a DNA test that's going to make you say that you're my people. I don't root for that. I root for you're my people.
Yeah.
You've shown me respect. You have talked with me. You came to do this. You're my people. Anytime if you have a problem, you got someone to call. And that's my people. That's my circle. That's who I honor.
And I am honored to be included in that.
Yes, ma'am.
Because, one thing that I feel like we definitely bonded over in the short amount of time that we got to reconnect during this interview is we talked spiritual, right? And I just want to bring this up because today we had an eclipse.
Yeah.
Right?
Oh,
and I was like, so why are we doing the interview today?
No, it's perfect.
I was like, that is so
perfect.
Crazy.
Yeah.
So I just want to ask you too, just because it was an eclipse today and there's a lot going on as far as like what that means. Yeah. And so I was so curious to just sit down and ask you, like, do you have any beliefs around like the eclipse today?
I love it. I know it's stereotypical, but I was at a meat shop, delicatessen type of thing, getting my meat today. And I was talking to people behind the counter. I said, I date a lot of girls who said, what's your sign? And you know what? I think it's cute. It's fun. But God of Abraham, be all, end all, no paganism. Okay. I don't deal with paganism. I don't deal with Roman gods. I don't deal with Nordic gods. I don't deal with Egyptian gods. I don't deal with the Phoenician. I don't deal with, Viking, whatever. Greek gods. I deal with the God of Abraham. That's my God. I don't play around with anything outside of that. And you look into the clues of all these whatever's going on with that. That's for you. With the eclipse stuff, it's cool. And I definitely think there's something cool, and there is these beautiful moments and stuff. There's math, an eclipse is like math. There's a math equation going on, and we are in that. And God did make that whole thing. He made that happen. It's kind of perfect. The moon is the right size for that to even happen. The sun and the distance between the sun, the moon, and all it's divine. The whole experience is divine. Yeah. I just see it as like God saying, check this out.
Let me show you what I can do.
Let me show you this. Don't look at it.
Don't look at it. Let's get the glasses.
Let's get the glasses, and you're smart enough to make that.
That's funny.
But I do not play around with anything outside of the God of Abraham. I got my Star of David and the cross. I say Yeshua. Yeshua was his Hebrew name. I have a Ashkenazi Jew background on my mother's side. They converted to Catholicism. I was an atheist for a period of time.
Okay.
I just was young, and I have but religion is an old people's thing, and I thought I was smart and da-da-da, and I was going for a run one day, and my life was a mess, and I said, you know what? I said, my grandma used to say, she's so condescending, but I love it. She'd say, I'm praying for you. And I say, Grandma, stop saying you're praying for me. You act like you know something I don't know, and I'm smart. I'm 18 years old.
I know it all.
I know everything.
Ooh, and Grandma was praying for you. How
yes,
powerful.
she was. Oh.
How powerful to look back on that now.
Everybody's got a religious grandma. If you don't have a religious grandma, I'm sorry. You probably...
You got to have a grandma praying for you. No, for sure.
Even if they have passed, they're praying for you. A grandmother, when a woman gets to that stage, they take on a whole new role in their society and in their culture and their family. Mm-hmm, anyway, so she used to always, and that's every background, white, black, Hispanic. My stepfather's Hispanic. Mm-hmm. I got an abuelita.
Okay.
That's a Mexican grandma.
Yeah.
They're from Jalisco. I got Hispanic, siblings, and we he teaches me how to make the right, guacamole, and my mom makes Italian food, and they make Mexican food, and we love it. I love culture.
Italian and Mexican food is like, oh my gosh.
I love all food. I
mean, so much flavor.
To stay fit, I'm fit.
Yeah, you are.
I can't eat pasta all the time.
Yeah, but guac is good for you.
Guac is really good for you. Yeah, guac is good for you.
That's funny.
But but my grandma, she's like, I'm praying for you. I'm like, stop with this. Anyway, I was going for a run. It was raining outside. It was kind of like dramatic, whatever. And I was running. I stopped running, which I love. People run from God. People run from God.
Yeah, facts.
When you say, all right, God, I'm not God. I'm not God. Mm-hmm. Well, I mean, look at Satan. Look at what he did. He was a blessed musician. That's what he was. Mm-hmm. He had said his body was in the shape of a harp. I play guitar. His body was in the shape of a harp. Ba ba ba. And I believe he looked up to God so much. He wanted that throne. He wanted to be like God. And that's what people want to do. And when you go outside of the Abrahamic God and you start going on into these, I'm worshiping the sun and the moon and the grass and fertility and war and money, and you getting all these different gods. Your life, you watch the soul of that person. I'm so firm on that. There's nothing anybody can say about that. And all of those people are running from God. They are running from their actions. They are running from their all of their sins. Everyone is. And so the God of Abraham is the same God of Islam, the God of Judaism, and the God of Catholicism, or vice versa, Christianity. Isaac and Ishmael. I know we're getting deep in the Bible, but Isaac and Ishmael are, Ishmael is the progenitor of Islam, and Isaac is the progenitor of Judaism, or tribes of Judah, and so I have respect. I love my Islamic Muslim brothers in this world. They love the same God that I love. Mm-hmm. It's an Abrahamic God, and it's really important to call it what it is. Same reason I call Jesus Yeshua. That is his Hebrew name. And when you say, my grandma used to say his name. And when my grandma was dying, she used to say all the names. Jehovah Rapha, the healer. And she would go like this. She would raise her hands, and she was the most beautiful. Also, she was beautiful. I mean, she was a drop dead.
I love the way you talk about your grandma.
Oh, legit, the reason I have my blonde hair is because of her. She was a blondie. She was a California. Jack LaLanne. You know who Jack LaLanne is? Mm-mm. My grandmother, Jack LaLanne, was like the first famous fitness guy.
Oh, okay.
And he was fit in his 90s. I mean, he was literally pulling trucks with his body. He was a crazy guy. Insane. I mean, he was big on the juicing. My grandmother worked with him.
Wow.
And she was a dancer on one of his videos and da-da-da. My grandfather was in, like, game shows and stuff. Like, it's kind of interesting. They're real interesting people. But my grandmother's literally beautiful. Like, drop dead, mink coat, blondie, California, L.A., like 1970s, that type, whatever. Beautiful lady. But her soul and spirit was even more beautiful. But she used to raise it. She taught me how to pray. My mother taught me how to pray. And my mother taught, this is how you pray. I try to tell people, like, you know, I'm a masculine dude. Like, I don't really go to church because, like, when my grandma died, it's hard for me to go to church or go to anything like that, or, like, go to synagogue or anything like that. It's hard for me to go just because her spirit's still there for me. But my mother taught me, when you're talking with God, I don't pray like a Catholic. I don't do that. No disrespect. I have a conversation. I don't memorize verses. I don't do that. I'll be in my car, whether it's good or bad, and I talk. Whether I'm upset, my mom says, if you're upset, you say it to God. You know, because Israel means to wrestle with God. That's what that means. So if you wrestle with God, the God of Abraham, our creator, our one true creator, if you wrestle with him, it means you have a relationship. Name me one person that you love and that you care for that you haven't fought with. That's God.
Yeah.
So if you wrestle with him, you're wrestling out of love and not disrespect. I wrestle with him.
Yeah.
I recently wrestled with him, and I was talking with him, and I said, I know you move. I know you're in control of my life. Get to working. Get to moving. I'm here. I know we're not gonna. I told God, I said, I already know. I don't move. This doesn't move. I'm here to. You let me be good at music. You let me be a good singer. You gave me the gifts to be a writer, producer, be good in front of a camera, play all these instruments. You gave me that. That's all I do.
Yeah.
I don't set anything else up. You inspire the songs. So I told God, I said, I feel like I'm doing my part.
Okay.
I said, God, I'm waiting on you. And I will wait as long as you want.
Yeah.
But I said, I am waiting. And I'm kind of, are we ready?
And, you know, we talked about everything kind of is in his time.
Yes,
Everything is in his time.
Yeah.
And I think that's important for us to hit on today, because knowing you and knowing that you have such a strong spiritual belief. Strong, very strong.
I don't mess around with I don't
no,
mess
you
around
don't.
with it.
And I feel like that's important
God,
for the fans.
I fear God. I fear God like you would not believe. Even when I talk with God and I'm mad at him, I say, I know when I'm wrestling you right now, I know I'm wrestling you. I know I'm wrestling. I know I'm going to lose. But I just want you to know how strong I am. And the strength that you've given me and the relationship that I have with you. I know I will fight with you and love you and lose every time to you, God, but I will not stop. I'm not going to stop. Whatever gets in my way, and I know that you're the one that puts that in my situation, my life. And I just feel like God, like you're one of his people. We're in the same tribe. When you're one of God's people, I feel like he's like, you know, like when they were on the boat and it was storming, God plays with his people just to make them strong. He even says it. I give you trials and tribulations because I need you to be strong. So don't be
complaining.
Don't be complaining about this. This is the gym. This is
go through things.
This is the gym.
Oh yeah.
Life gym.
Yeah.
All right. I'm putting weight on you. Get strong.
Yeah.
And but sometimes I'm like, God, I feel like I've been doing the same workouts.
I'm strong.
I feel like I'm strong in this area.
Yeah.
Give me something.
Yeah.
And I feel like God, when you have that such a strong, relationship where you close your eyes and you're with them, you start having these profound kind of like, you start talking different. So anyone who's a believer in Yeshua, God, the one true God that we love, start talking to him. Start talking to him with strength. Start talking to God with strength and really ask him for divine righteous gifts and moments in your life, and he'll give it. So, and then, okay. You said, how did I get to be Toni?
No, I really actually.
Okay.
You gave me a lot.
Mm-hmm.
And I love having conversation with you. And we can go from subject to subject and really get lost in it. And that's what I love most about really sitting down and talking with you. But I really want to get into the music.
Yes.
Okay. Now, You guys got to go check out. What is your Instagram? Shout out your Instagram real quick.
Anywhere on socials. Prima Don Vino. What's that mean? There was a guy named Louis Prima. You got Frank Sinatra, you got Dean Martin, Sammy Davis Jr., the Rat Pack. There was a guy named Louis Prima. Prima in Italian means first.
Okay.
And Louis Prima lit up a room. Louis Prima is when you think of a Goomba Italiano, you think of Louis Prima. And so Prima Don Vino means first Don Vino. And my goal in my life is there's not any, in American culture right now, we don't have what I'm doing. It's all like seen as like old and like, this is what old dudes, da, da, da. You know, my goal is to be the first Don Vino, and I want people to embrace this type of lifestyle again from all different backgrounds. I want people wearing suits. I want people getting, dressing nice and opening doors for girl, but still having that toughness to them. But so anywhere on socials, Prima Don Vino, that's what that is. The first Don Vino, that's what that is.
I love that.
And you saw my Instagram.
Yes, I love your Instagram. You play so many instruments.
Mm-hmm.
You're on there it's shirtless, guys. For the girls out there, he's on
anymore.
there shirtless.
I'm not doing that anymore.
Playing guitar, but it's one of my favorite videos because I feel like
solo.
You sound really good though. It's not just that you don't have a shirt on, but it's just that you sound really good and it feels very genuine. But you're on there playing piano as well. You're somewhere playing piano.
I'm gonna start doing some bass videos and drums.
Yeah,
I love the drums.
It's look at all the instruments. Like, you're so talented.
I got that. So my first instrument was a guitar. So I love this story because I'm like a really good guitar. And I tell people, I'm getting competitive. I'm like, all right, somebody's got to make guitar player. Like, we got John Mayer. He's like the guy with guitar. But like guitar, like singers.
Cool.
I get more stuff from my voice than guitar is cool. But it's not what it was. Okay. It was because, for instance, I can prove it. I'll go to a little get together, and I play guitar, and I'll play the guitar, and then girls are like, that's kind of cool. I sing or girls or rap. Girls will go, what's going on with that? Okay, if this was the 60s and 70s, if you picked up a guitar, you played campfire songs. You're getting something.
He said, "You going home with something."
Somebody, some girl is gonna say he plays guitar. He plays a C chord and a G chord.
Did you see
I love that man. That's not the case anymore. So any musician out there, you gotta, write some songs. Women are not. Musicians are seen as nerds. I'm just gonna be honest.
Really?
Yes. Yes. I put my art and my songs first. I don't want people to. I tell you said you're such a good musician. That's second. Yeah, I practice. That's second to me. I want people. I know his songs.
Okay.
I love that song. I like that vocal melody. I like that arrangement. That's it. The musicianship is just because, I love Prince. Prince was, I think, the most like. There's been so many artists that have influenced my work, from the Beatles to Michael Jackson to Stevie Wonder. Stevie Wonder was an excellent instrumentalist. Michael Jackson used to write songs with his voice. My friend that I was growing up with, his name was Sky. Love you, Sky. I haven't talked to him for a while. We kind of have fallen out, but I love him, and anytime I see him, I'm always looking out for him. He said something I'll never forget. He said the best songs, because we were talking about, what's a good sign of a song? Because we would write songs and then we would compare, and I always had a good song. I would, and he used to tell me, I get kind of insecure showing you songs because your songs are so. I said, man, don't ever do that. And I used to tell him, I said, dude, you write excellent songs. No one told him that. I was kind of his bigger brother, and I said, dude, you write excellent. I love your. He used to send me songs. So we're sitting down, we're talking about. I said. And we kind of like analyze, what's the best? How do you know if you got a good song? You know what he said? He said, if you can hum it and sing it and people know, that is a good song. And ever since that, I have always put and said, you know what? It's not about anything, but I'm going to sing my songs to you. And Bonnie, I was waiting on it.
Oh, I love that
You
song
were
too. I like
waiting.
that, like
Boom. Hook.
like old
Hook.
school though.
Yes. It's like doo-wop.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Which I
That's a good
kind of feel
song.
like your light show is kind of like that a little bit.
Yeah, a little bit.
A little bit. But
Mm-hmm.
okay, so the reason why I wanted to bring up your Instagram is because you do have a lot of promo on there right now for this latest project that you have, Blood on Blonde.
Blood on Blonde. What do you think about that title?
I want to know what it means because I have no idea what that means.
Yeah. So, Blood on Blonde is a mantra. It's about a lot of things. Blood on Blonde is about the violence that has led me to where I'm at, the transformation that violence has brought into my life. You know, people pulling guns on me.
Which is insane because
but
I know you. I'm like, who would want to like?
God needs it to happen. God needed it to happen.
Okay.
I'm so tough now. I'm the toughest. I'm one of the toughies.
It's like, well, who would want to pull a gun on you? You're such a...
Well, I've always had I have a loud mouth since
I've never experienced that side of you. Never.
That's good.
Yeah.
That's good. I take it. It is reserved for the demons.
Yeah, okay. I feel
it's
that.
reserved
That's
for
what my
the
loud
demons.
mouth is reserved for.
It's demons.
Yeah.
If someone's being a demon in my life, we're going.
Oh yeah.
We're going. And ever since getting in fights when I was a kid, I've gotten in more fights as an adult than I ever got growing up, and it's been very strange. But I've had a lot of violence happen in my life recently. I've had a lot of, people trying to intimidate me, people trying to steal my productions. And I was in a studio session one time, and it was like 4 or 5 people deep, and I was like sharing them my music and and then they thought they were being slick. And they had this little piece of paper. And while I was like still crafting the beat, they wrote down an email and said, send this beat to that email. And they thought I was in the throes of it. I was just gonna send them this beat. I said, oh, cool. Bang, pause it. I said, this is before slick back. I've always had that side, like that flip of the switch.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that, that night I talked about my father. I actually escalated that as a child. My father was beating my sister. And he had glass in his hand. And he was about to shove glass in my sister's face. And I remember, I didn't cry. Got in the middle of him. I looked him in the eye. And I had a speech impediment at the time. Real cute one.
Real cute
speech. I said, don't hurt my sister. But I looked at him.
No, but seriously.
4 years old. And I'll never forget, he had this glass in his hand. He just saw like David. Like the David energy of like David versus Goliath.
Yeah.
He saw this young kid, but I'll take that glass for my sister. I'll take that glass. I don't know what the hell he was doing, but I've always had that, animalistic. If it's go time, it's go time. I've had friends that were getting picked on at school, but from the upperclassmen, bow, fighting, getting kicked out of school for the last 2 days. Thank you. I got out of school early. Summer starts early, and I got a lot of street cred.
Yeah,
so,
okay.
It's nice. But I had that going on. I was a wrestler growing up. I do, jiu-jitsu and Muay Thai and boxing. And I love all that. I love martial arts and everything like that. But, it has a place, and it's only for, protection and stuff like that. But I've had, I'm in the studio. And I'm there. And I knew they were trying to be quick, Everyone was drinking. I don't drink. I don't smoke. But everyone's drinking. It keeps me level-headed. I grew up around alcoholics, so I just don't touch it. Everyone's drinking and doing their thing. Maybe doing a little coke in the bathroom. Terrible. But it's whatever. It's the world you get in with music.
Yeah.
So I'm there. And they think I'm not paying attention. And I'm just going to send them the beat real quick. I said, okay, what are we doing? Let's talk about either payment. You can buy it outright. You can get the publishing, And they said, room went quiet.
Yeah.
4 or 5 dudes, kind of circle around me, kind of like hyenas, right? They're around me. They start looking at me they're like, no, I think, kind of trying to intimidate me. They said, no, I think you're just going to send a beat to us because we made that beat. And I said, no, I don't think you did make that beat. I said, do you know how to play piano? And they said, no. I said, I think I laid the chords down. I said, do you know how to program drums? They said, no. I said, yeah, I think I programmed those drums. He said, yeah, but I said I liked it. I said, I don't care that's not producing.
Yeah.
You know, any writer out there, if you wrote a melody, if you produced the drums, the loop. I've had people try to steal my guitar loops. They thought they were slick with that. Me playing guitar. Yeah, whatever, blah, blah, blah. They'll send it to someone. No, you put my...
Yeah.
You know, writers, producers, people who actually make the music, stand up for yourself, because you're the magic. Writers are the magic. Writers are the musical magic. We make it. And these people that are just entertainers and they take these songs, I don't respect anyone who's just a performer of music and they act like they wrote the song. I want you to put that person out on the stage who wrote it. Those are the writers are the most talented people in the music industry, and nobody knows them. It is horrendous. You know, in the 70s they had an era called singer-songwriter. Carole King, Elton John, You had all in the R&B world, they had all these, you know, people, and they wrote songs. They wrote songs. And that's the person, when you heard the song, that person wrote it.
Yeah.
Prince wrote the songs.
Yeah.
You put Prince in a studio, you're getting a song.
Yeah.
Michael Jackson, you put him at you know, he's like, okay, and then I want you to do this and that. But he'd sing the melody
like that?
because that's Michael.
Because that's Michael.
But he would sing it. You know, I just want you to sing. Oh, it's gonna who. You know, he would get the melodies and
Very
So
talented.
he was writing, super talented. He may not have been able to play an instrument, but he wrote melodies.
Yeah.
Now, he didn't write all the songs, but he credited and he let people know. And, you know, if there's a documentary on all this stuff, Rod Temperton, Quincy Jones, these people talked about the people who wrote the music. What we have nowadays, and you got the whole issues with all the people and, you know, the whole, like, ghostwriter stuff and, like, some people are good about saying, you know, I don't write the music, I just perform it.
Yeah.
But the people, I will never, and the fake artists who they have money and maybe they look good in clothes and they could be GQ, but they don't actually write that stuff and maybe they can hold a tune. And if you're not giving credit and shining a light on the person who wrote that genius hook that is everyone singing, and he hears that song on the radio and everyone's praising this artist, but you never get any love, that's horrendous. I write all my own music, so I don't have to worry about that. But for writers, stand up for yourself. If you're a producer, don't ever engineer. If you're an engineer, don't take any. When I was in my engineering days, when I was engineering, coming up engineer, as you met me as an engineer, if you were talking stupid, session's over. You know, engineers, they take I've been in sessions where engineers getting yelled at, and I'm like, dude, you need to stand up for yourself.
Yeah.
Or fuck up the mix. Fuck up the mix. Do it. I'm telling you, do it. You know why? Funny story about that. I had a guy come, we were mixing and mastering his album, and we said, hey, everything's good. We got a big problem on track, whatever it was. I said, that sub, if you have ears, you know it's out of tune. I said, what we need to do is you need to talk to the producer and you need to switch that sub because that's not in key. Anybody with ears, I told him, anybody with ears is going to know that's out of key. He said, nah, man, we got to get the album out, blah, blah, blah. I said, and he was kind of like, you don't know what you're talking about, blah, 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 kind of rude. I said, okay. That's fine. So I'm not going to promote his album. It was not that great, but it was not good. But he was also very rude. So he's going to get that. But if you go to one of the tracks on the album, skip through it. Play it. Why is that out of key? There you go. He refused to listen to an engineer trying to help him out. But engineers, producers, anyway, so I'm in the studio. Tangent, but we're back. We're focused in. We're focused in. J.Nichelle. We're focused in. So they're there, and we're at the climax of the situation. And they were like, me mugging me. I said, you're not getting this beat.
Yeah.
You didn't write this beat. You didn't produce this. I don't care what you do. Nothing's going down. And I said, I think this session's over. And they said, man, blah, 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 blah. Just talk, barking. Walked out though. Never saw them again.
Yeah.
The violence, I've had people pulling guns on me in these sessions. I've had people trying to intimidate me. I've been in fights. I had people, and girls like me and and I had people trying to fight me because they're girls or everything like that. I'm a very peaceful dude, and if you're a handsome person and if you're a man on a mission, violence can come your way.
Yeah.
You know, it
You
really
be minding
can.
your business.
You can be minding your business with a smile, and some people, the demons out there want to take you down. And so, you know, that enlightened me to, I didn't grow up with a father. I grew up in, you know, lower middle class, upper poor with my mother. And we, you know, classy, but I didn't have a big protective father that had my back. It was, hey,
And you grew up with all women.
all
So,
women.
yeah.
Yeah, my mom. I remember my mom got married. That I was like, she got married again. And my stepdad, he kind of I love that man, but he kind of came at me like I was a man of the home.
Yeah.
He respected me, and he asked me, he's like, "Is it cool if I marry your mom?"
As he should.
And
That's awesome.
and I was like, "You're the first." You know, he really showed me respect as a man. I was a young man, but I've had my mother's like people, whatever, that were talking to her. I've had them come to the door, and I'm like, what's going on? My mom had me answer the door. I'm like, what do you come on the door to do? Da da da. And I want to talk to your mom. I was like, you're not talking to her like that.
Yeah.
Da da da. But
you got to be that protector. You had to be the man.
And God,
yeah.
I say God has blessed me to understand and how to deal with those situations, because people, you know, when you have violence brought into your life, you don't root for it.
No, you definitely don't.
If you've been hit before, if you've been smacked, if you've seen weapons, if you've been out at a place and da da da, and you don't know what's about to go down, and if you've had enough of those encounters, there is no way in hell, if you are in the right state of mind, that you want to see more of that in the world. Mm-hmm. And so, but it toughens you up, and that's life. And it helps me. I praise it. I say thank you, God, for everything, because it must come in handy. It comes in handy.
Definitely.
You know, I don't fear walking the streets. I don't look for problems, but I don't fear walking the streets. I know how to handle myself. I have street smarts, you know, blah blah blah. We're good to go, kind of thing. But the violence and the trauma and family deaths and relationships have beginning and ending, have molded me into the man that I am today. And the Blood on Blonde, back to, you asked me about the title of the album, you know, the Blood on Blonde is the blood of God covering me, and also the blood I've had in my life. And also Bob Dylan, he has an album called Blonde on Blonde. I love Bob Dylan, and I have a song. I said, I'm like Bob Dylan on the street. I've got pennies over my feet. I leave blood on the tracks. Blonde scarab. I'm bad with my lyrics. Blonde scarab. Write signs of checks. Do it all for respect. Guinea dance on the temp. I'm dancing. Tell these kids buy guns, but we don't shoot for fun.
Yeah.
Keep it simple on my wrist. I don't like the big watches. I don't worship
what
money.
What song is that though?
That's Blood on Blonde.
Is that the intro?
That's like that was where I came up with that title.
Yeah.
In that song.
Yeah.
I had the ad-lib, Blood on Blonde. Da, da, da. I had the ad-lib for that, and
which is crazy because you guys have you have got to listen to the album. Which is it only available on your streaming platform right now?
Yeah. So I'm gonna release a lot of singles. Don't worry. Don't be like, I'm going to release a lot of singles. I'll probably have 6 or 7 singles. The album's about 18 tracks.
Yeah. Which is crazy.
I got so much more.
No one does like 18 tracks anymore.
Yeah. I thought that was long. I cut it down. I cut it down.
Okay.
And I've got the first edition is about this relationship. Love that woman. If I see her, I know I'll get mad. I don't even want to see her because I love her so much. I love that woman so much.
It's over. It's over.
I wrote an album, you know, about it being over.
Okay.
But we still love each other. It's so crazy. Like there's lyrics, you know, on the song "Bad Love" and even in "Blood on Blonde," dun dun, come around. I'm bad with my lyrics. I had my friend, and I wrote a song with him, Maui. He's on the track "I Am Her Weakness." He and I used to joke. I love him too. He and I used to joke. He's like, dude, why do you forget your lyrics? I said, dude, I focus so much on the creative part. I can't remember anything I do. I can't remember anything I write. If I'm like, if someone would say, hey, play the chorus of this, I'm like, dude, give me about, I need to listen to it again.
As long as you don't forget when you're
performing. Yeah, I'll be I'll get
bad.
the mic. I'll be with the mic. I'll be singing.
They're like, I thought he wrote.
I can solo. I have an ear. I can play it in like any key. So I'll be there with my guitar soloing. The chords I will screw up, just because. Yeah, I don't know. I just forget. But I won't forget the melodies. So,
yeah.
But I wrote the whole album. That was like the first. I remember when Blood on Blonde, the song, I was like, man, I really like that turn of a phrase, and it was just an ad lib. Blood on Blonde. It was at the beginning of the song. I was like, yeah, I like that. I like how that sounds. And then I was originally gonna call the album Modern Opera.
Okay.
Prima Don Vino, Modern Opera. Mozart has an opera. It was Don Giovanni. And the album cover of me on the side of my face, I was going to have the album cover like my face, because if you look at the Don Giovanni, it's, a man's face. And I was going to be modern opera because I felt like my life was like this so dramatic love story. If you listen to the lyrics of this song, like the 2 album covers of the first edition are me and her. Don't ask me for money, baby. I'm going to say, because, they don't know what you look like. I'm just... I've been hearing people say, oh, I inspired that. No, I wrote it. Okay, I wrote that album. Mm-hmm. Okay, but you got Requiem opens it, and then there's a song called Post for Me. There are these Post for Me, babe. Like it was like we took these like 2. She took a photo of me, and I took a photo of her. She took the album cover, and I took this photo of her, and they look so beautiful and they like contrasted together.
Yeah.
You got the woman with the veil, and then my symbol of a T-shirt. That's the other album cover, and then you got me
with the side face.
Yeah,
I love that.
Yeah, and she took that photo, and then I was writing the Post for Me, and I was like, okay, this is the album now. Once I wrote Post for Me, I was like, yeah, I'm going full blown in this breakup album. I stopped talking to all girls. I said, hey,
I'm focused.
I can't be falling in love again. I need to be heartbroken, and I need to be worried about this girl that I'm not talking to anymore.
Finishing this album.
I'm finishing it up with her.
And that's where a lot of good albums come from, Broken Heart. And,
the best.
The emotion.
The best.
The best.
You have to go through it. Yeah.
So you guys got to check out the new album. Please go and download Apollo, which is your streaming platform.
Okay, I'm sorry. I talk a lot.
That's okay. We definitely have to go. We can stay and talk all day. But Apollo is a streaming platform where you guys please go check that out. It was created by Toni
and my partner Cole.
And your partner Cole.
Yeah. So I designed the kind of the look of it and the kind of the intention, and he's this wonderkin young guy. I met him and we are working together. And I talked to you about crediting people and writers and music.
Yeah.
Same thing in the business world. Credit the people you're working with. They will love you because you show respect to them. So I tell them I just make things look sexy. I make it look good. So I make it look good. You don't have to worry. It's gonna look great. But yeah, so Apollo, we're working on that.
Which is the streaming platform. And Blood on Blonde is out on that right now, the full album. So you guys make sure you check it out. Toni, thank you.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you. We will do this again. You're my favorite.
We would have been here till midnight. If
you know it. Yeah.
You know.
Yep.
All right, y'all. Until next time, it's your girl, J.Nichelle. Special shout out to the Wichita Podcast Studios for having us. You guys, see ya.